What's going on, boys? No guys here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to go over the 4-4-2 custom tactics and instructions. Now, don't forget, this is going to be an aggressive 4-4-2. So let's get straight into it, because I'm sure you guys know how the 4-4-2 works anyway, and you should know about that by now. So obviously, this is going to be a tactic. So if you're, for example, in Foot Champions and you want to go towards elite rank and your opponent's holding the ball and you want to press, you need a formation to do so, where the 4-4-2 is one for you. For the defensive style, you have two options. I would say gold players, I would say balanced or pressure on heavy touch, and only for elite plus press after possession loss. A lot of people are just using this, but to be honest, it's not really that good, because a lot of times your players get out of position. So I'll be honest, just better off just using pressure on heavy touch, and this way I think realistically you can press when you want to, and then that's completely fine. Otherwise, when you use, for example, press after possession loss, you're basically just running out every single time, and a good player will counter you. So you need to be good enough to be able to counter that. I would recommend balance though, and if you're new to, you can use team press in the game as well. When it comes to the width now, offensive width, we've increased this to 6. It's kind of a debatable one, because the reason why is you want a wider width to cover more areas of the pitch. That's the reason, because when you're defending, you want to be able to cover as much of the pitch as possible. So make sure you have a width that's good enough that you can press, because if you have too much of a narrow width, it's not beneficial. Because think about this, you're going to be very, very narrow, very, very compact, whereas your opponent's going to be very, very wide, you know, lobbing a ball from the left to the right hand side. So you have to have, you can argue, a high enough width, that way if he is lobbing a ball from left to the right, you can then press with the ball. For the depth, we've increased this to 7. Now you have two options. I would say, again, gold 1 to elite, I would say 7 is fine. If you're like gold 3 to gold 1, I would say you can try 7, but I'd realistically recommend 5, because I think 7, although you have this, well, people like to call it auto offside trap, I don't call it auto offside trap, is that the defensive line tries to make their runs going forward. Now, this is fine if you're a good player, but a lot of players, for example, on the lower end, they're not that good at right stick switching. So if your opponent gets a through ball and there's a darting through ball down the middle, if you don't select your right centre back and you don't run back with him manually, you could be very much in big trouble. So it's better off to have someone who's, for example, faster to centre back. If not, then either way you can just go ahead and reduce the depth a little bit. That's kind of my best advice. So 5, if you're probably like a gold 3 player, or even if you're an elite player, you're not too sure about, you know, pressing so high. Otherwise, you can go with 7. Now, defensive style, you got 2. You can either go with balanced, or you can either go with long ball. Now, personally, I would probably go with balanced first, but just for simply, you might not want to rush forward. It kind of depends, because you see, I prefer to use long ball because I want players to be making runs in behind. So, for example, I have my centre mid, or one of these centre mids on balanced, and I want them to make runs going forward. Long ball helps advocate that, and it push it. Basically, long ball just means getting behind. But some players prefer to be a bit more slow, methodical in the build up. That's why you might prefer balanced. But I use long ball, so either one of long ball or balance is completely fine. But I use long ball. For the width, we have gone with 5. Don't forget, the 4-4-2 when you're attacking naturally is quite a wide formation anyway. So do you need to go any wider? It's a bit debatable, but in my opinion, I think 5 is a good balance, because you have players, and of course your 2 strikers and, you know, your CDMs are far apart enough where you can distribute the ball between them. But also you want your left mid and right mid to be wide enough where they occupy your opponent's left back and right back. So you can use hug the sidelines if you want to, but typically speaking, 5 is completely fine. To the players in the box, I just go down to 4, simply because I don't cross the ball, so I don't really feel there's a need for me to use any much higher. And of course, you can have the instructions having players manually getting inside the box if you want to anyway. Corners and free kicks, it's still on 1. So I don't really advocate going higher, just because I think if you have this too high, there's a big potential you can get counter-attacked. So do bear that in mind. So it's better off to not have it too high. So I'd recommend is leave it on 1. That way you don't get counter-attacked. Then we go over to the instructions, and we have both the strikers on stay central. Now, people disagree with this. I always say you want both the strikers on stay central because you want them to be in the middle. You never want, for example, your right striker going towards the right wing. Now, some people might say, oh yeah, if I get the ball and this guy's not over here, he's back here, I want Neymar to make a run going that direction. Well, you can always trigger that manually. I'd always want my 2 strikers to be on stay central, to be in the middle, and my left mid and right mid to go down the wing. That's what I'd say. So stay central. For one of the strikers you want, you can leave them on getting behind. You can, if you want to, put one of the strikers on comeback and defense. It doesn't really do anything. It just kind of has like this kind of like look system when you get the ball back. So one's just behind the other. So you don't want them in parallel lines together in the vertical straight line. You can do that, which is a bit easier for the build-up play, especially your opponent using 2 CDMs on stay back while attacking. The left mid and right mid, we have them both on comeback and defense. And don't forget, I just want to say as well, don't forget I do a video on how to use the 4-4-2 as well. But we have comeback and defense. If you want to, you can put get into the box for a cross if you want to. It's completely up to you. But typically speaking, I don't cross the ball, so I don't think there's really a need for me to even do that. When it comes to the actual chance creation, I leave them on balance. Some people like to use them on stay wide, but I prefer just to leave them on balance. You can always use hug the sidelines if you want these guys to be wide anyway. So I kind of think that defeats the purpose of that. And in terms of a cut inside and free roam, the problem is most of the time they just do nothing, and another time they don't really come in when you want them to. They're not as intelligent, even with team and season players. So I think it's better just leaving this unbalanced, and then you can influence them if you want to. If you have this tactic unbalanced, you can, if you want to, put your left mid and right mid on getting behind. But because we're using long ball, we leave this unbalanced, and likewise the same. Now, one CDM we were on stay back while attacking cover center, and the other one we have them on stay back while balanced and cover center. Now, the most attacking players, so I have someone as a high medium. Someone as a high medium, high would be completely ideal in this situation. High medium or high. Leave them on balance. If they haven't got the best of work rates, you can put get forward on, but I just leave it on balanced. For the right center mid, I've got cover center and stay back while attacking. If you're worried about these players getting too much inside the box, even though they wouldn't, you can put them on center edge of the box. Don't forget, this is for the 4-4-2 flat. If you want to copy these in a 4-4-2 second variation, just put both of these on cut passing lanes. I think that's pretty much sorted out from there. Both of the centre backs on stay back while attacking. Nothing's changed there. The goalkeeper, we left this on balance. People keep saying, oh yeah, you know what, shall I use sweeper keeper? During team of the season, it's not going to help you because someone's going to play some deadly through ball in behind, and you could be very much in big trouble. So it's not worth using super keeper. Most team season players are very much faster, and you're probably going to get caught in behind. So I definitely recommend is leaving this on balance. In terms of left back and right back, let's be realistic. I would say stay back while attacking. I would put conservative, and I would put overlap. Simply for the fact that, now I don't play these players here in case you're wondering, but just simply I would put them on step out while taking cover center and overlap. Just because when you do a 1-2, you want these guys to be going on the outside. You want the most attacking players to, of course, be going on the inside. If, for example, the concerted interceptions, I still use this just because simply the 1-2s, you don't want your defender committing too forward, especially when your opponent does a 1-2 down the wing. And stay back while attacking, you don't need to leave these on balance. It's irrelevant to have your fullbacks on balance because they do nothing when you go forward. They just hover around this area, and they're very much a counter-attack threat. There's actually no benefit of leaving these guys on balance. If you really want them to get forward, you can use attacking fullbacks. But that is the 4-4-2 formation. So I'll play 2 clinical strikers like Ronaldo and Neymar, some got better agility and balance. Left mid and right mid, 2 fast players. 1 attacking centre mid, someone like KDB here, Bruno Fernandes. I put in the Trent here, and I'll say 1 CDM here. I would say someone like Base Blanc, someone like Vieira. I put Tagliafico there. I play Crespo and left back because I'm comfortable with doing that. Again, I'm comfortable with doing that. It depends on yourself. 2 centre backs, and Renato Sanchez normally gets subbed off for someone like Semedo, and that is basically the 4-4-2 tactics, and that is the team that I'm playing. Thanks for watching, boys. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out. Don't forget, I do stream on twitch.tv/NoGuides, and of course, the Patreon series is on the link down below and in a pinned comment. Thanks for watching, boys. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.